Om Shanti. Loudly, Om Shanti. In this hall, when you speak, it should echo in the whole hall. Once again, Om Shanti. Enjoying the unlimitedness in this huge Shanti one. Yes? We just heard a very beautiful song. The words were, this heart makes the determined thought, Baba, I want to become like you. I have taken your company, I have taken your hand, and I promise you that I will fulfill this determined thought of becoming like you. Very beautiful wordings were of this song. Actually, this is the only way to receive blessings from Baba, because that's what my topic is. Method of experiencing blessings from Bap Dada and the family. How to take blessings? Blessings cannot be asked for. On the path of devotion, people ask for blessings. They say, please bless me. Or sometimes we do say to people, may God bless you. But then blessings cannot be asked for. And by just saying, may God bless you, you're not sure whether God will bless or not, because you're saying, may God, He may not. But how do you know that we can get blessings from God? It is only when we win God's heart throne. Even in the Lokik world, you win someone's heart and he will surely bless you. He will surely give you his good wishes. You don't have to ask from him, but himself he will say from his heart, may God bless you, or may you be blessed. So if we want to win God's heart throne, if we want to be blessed by Baba, we have to win his heart. And in order to win his heart, we have to become his obedient children. And then Baba is bound to bless us. And those blessings can make us keep flying. But in order to experience that flying stage, to receive Baba's blessings, in order to follow Srimad, we need to have that complete faith. Faith in the self, faith in Baba, faith in the divine family, faith in all the teachings which we are receiving now at this confluence age. Faith also in this period of time in the cycle, that this is the confluence age, the end of the old cycle and the beginning of the new cycle. The end of the age of Kali Yuga, Iron Age, and the beginning of Golden Age. And at this confluence age, God comes Himself to bestow upon His children the unlimited blessings so that children can once again regain their original state which they had at the beginning. Regain their lost kingdom which Maya snatched it away from them. To give back the children 100% purity, peace, happiness, prosperity in the new golden aged world. So that faith we develop here. And all of you have come to Madhuban for that experience. To meet the Father face to face. We know that God is very concerned about His children. You know why people become atheists? Why they don't want to believe in God? Usually there are two reasons why they don't want to believe in God. Leave aside Him coming and blessing, that's another matter. But they don't even want to believe in God. Why they don't want to believe is usually two reasons. One reason is the ego within. I am everything. What does God do? Even if He's there, He doesn't do anything. I do everything, He doesn't do. So He doesn't even exist because I do everything. Whatever I have gained in this world is because of my efforts. I am everything. That's the ego, the superiority complex. And the other reason is why they don't want to believe in God, because they think when they see so much sorrow in this world, so much pain, so much distress, so much fear, so much, all the negativity in the world, then they wonder, what is God doing? Why isn't He helping the poor children of His? There's so much sorrow in this world. Why isn't He helping them? If He exists, He should help them. But there's no help coming from anywhere, and therefore God doesn't exist. That is the result which they come to. So there are two types of people. The superiority complex ones, the inferiority complex ones. Because they're so much in distress, they can't even think that God can help them if they are able to go to God. They tell a joke. It came in the internet the other day that someone went to a barber to get his hair cut and shaved, beard shaved and all that. So he went to that barber, and the barber and himself were having a discussion. And that barber was arguing with him and saying that God doesn't exist. And this man saying, how can you say it doesn't exist? Then barber said, see, there's so much sorrow in the world, so much distress, so much unhappiness, so much misery. If God would be there and He is the Father, how can He allow His children to have that much sorrow? So the person who was, getting the barber to shave his hair, he didn't want to argue. He just kept quiet and was listening to the barber's argument. He was cutting his hair and also shaving him, but he didn't say anything. So the barber went on and on that God doesn't exist because He doesn't do anything. If He exists, He should do something. So he didn't, but this man didn't answer, and after his haircut was done, he went out, and as he was walking on the street, he found a man who had such long hair, such a big beard, so dirty, so filthy looking. And immediately he said, "Look at this man. Why doesn't he go to the barber to get his hair cut?" And when he asked that man, "Why don't you go to the barber?" He said, "Oh, we'll go. I'm okay. So immediately it struck him. He said, "I'll go back to the barber." And he went running to the barber and told the barber, you know, barbers don't exist. And that barber said, "How can you?" Said, "I'm a barber. How can you say barbers don't exist? I'm here. And I did cut your hair, I shaved you and all that. How can you say barbers don't exist?" He said, "But look at that man outside. Look at his hair. Look at his head. He hasn't had a haircut for for many years maybe. He's so filthy. Why?" But then Baba said, "What can I do? He must come to me. I will cut his hair, I will, shave him, all that, but he must come to me for that. If he won't come to me, how can I do it? How can you blame the barber for it if his condition is bad? He must come to me. If he doesn't come to me, I can't do anything." He said, "There you are. You were saying God doesn't exist." How can you say God doesn't exist, but the one who doesn't go to God, what can God do? He must go to God, no? Only then God will do something for him. You have to take one step towards God, then God will take 10 steps towards you. Yeah, so Barbara said, "He must come to me. I won't go to him. He must come here. I have a shop. He must come to me." But then sometimes this story is not very valid for God. Why? Because we can't go to God ourselves. God has to come here. Yes. Then of course, you all have to come to Madhuban to take the blessings. And all of you have come to Madhuban. And therefore you are those most fortunate souls who have come to Madhuban to take the blessings from the Father. And many of you must be first time in this Kalpa. How many first timers? Raise your hand. Many first timers. Yes. So you are very, very fortunate indeed to have been able to make it, because things are becoming more and more difficult in the world. Who knows what will happen next year? You never know. But this year it had been quite smooth, and you have been able to make it, and you have reached Madhuban. You are not too late, although you are late. Yes. We say you are late, although not too late. Why not too late? And why late? Because first of all, those who took sustenance from Brahma Baba, of course they were the most fortunate ones. And those who took sustenance from Dadiji, they were also very, very fortunate. But those who have come for the first time in this Kalpa, they have not been able to take any sustenance from Dadiji too. Because last year she became Avyak. You have come after that, maybe the first timers. So still Baba says you are not too late, because you still can meet Avyakt Bap Dada. You can take blessings from Bap Dada, as well as this unlimited divine family, because you have reached your true home. In spite of all the hurdles you may have faced before coming here. But now that you have reached, you have to take the maximum benefit. And tomorrow will be that great day which would be written in your intellect as the golden day, the diamond day, the most auspicious day, the day when you would come face to face with God. For those who have already been before, it may not be a new experience, but for the first timers, it's definitely going to be a new experience. And even if for the others it may not be a new experience, but still every time souls come to Madhuban, souls come to face Bap Dada, it is a new experience. It is a different experience. It's a fulfilling experience. It's a feeling of receiving the fruit of many births of devotion, of bhakti. When we pray to God to give us peace, to give us love, to give us happiness, to bless us, and now God says, I have come to give you all that. To give you the fruit of your bhakti, your devotion. So when you first came to Baba, you got a very beautiful gift from God. The very first day you came to Baba. And that gift was in the form of the third eye of wisdom and a divine intellect. You got a divine eye or a divine intellect, or and you can say if you want to separate both. With that divine eye, you could visualize the three worlds. And with the divine intellect, you could broaden your vision, your outlook, your attitude, understand the three aspects of time with ease. So these two gifts Baba gave to you at the time of your spiritual birth. With the help of the third eye of wisdom, third eye of knowledge, you could travel into the three worlds. You could get the vision of the three worlds. And with the divine intellect, you could broaden it, your intellect, and see the three aspects of time. So you may call it one gift or two gifts, but it has a deep meaning. And when we experienced this gift, we felt that we were blessed. Because we are seeing in the world today, people don't have this wisdom. They keep questioning, who am I? Why am I? From where am I? What is the purpose of my life? And so on. So many questions. Although they may have faith in God, but yet that faith is not that deep love for God. There is always a doubt whether this is God or that is God. But now as we have come to know about the Self, come to know about the Supreme Father, we have come to know that God comes at this time and He blesses us. Of course, those days are over when Baba used to give individual blessings. Of course, during Sakar Brahma Baba's time, Shiv Baba would bless us through Brahma Baba individually. But then later on, even during Sakar Baba's time, Baba remained quite detached. He used to come to the class and speak the Murli and stay detached in his own meditation. Of course, meet the children, but then not as much as Baba would meet earlier. The last days, Baba experienced a very detached stage. He was going beyond. We could feel it that Baba is reaching his karmati stage, his stage of perfection. The moment we would go near Baba, we would not want to speak at all. Just feel Baba's presence, that's all. Just take drishti from Baba. Maybe Baba wouldn't speak, but we didn't mind. Just being in his presence was enough to fill us. That high was Baba's stage. Even without coming into words, we used to feel blessed. Or maybe we would forget what we wanted to ask Baba or wanted to share with Baba or wanted Baba to tell us. We would forget everything. But we would feel that we are receiving, just being in his presence. Then later on we saw this from Dadiji. We used to just go in front of Dadiji, not speak. Because Dadiji's stage was so high. And we felt whatever mundane things we had in our mind, what to ask from Dadi? Dadi's stage was so high. How could you talk about those silly things or very ordinary things in front of Dadiji, whose stage was so high? So then too we felt, let us just sit with Dadi, that's all. Let not Dadi speak, doesn't matter. Just be in her presence. Or let her be with me. Just feel her vibrations, that's all. This is what we used to experience. And then when we experienced Avyakt Bap Dada's part, Brahma Baba became complete and Avyakt Bap Dada started coming in Gulzar Dadi's body. At the beginning, Baba used to bless every individual. Each one would get personal blessings. I remember there was a time when Baba blessed every child in Om Shanti Bhavan. Each one would come one by one on the stage and they would sit. Baba would give them drishti, would share a few blessings, give them toli, each one at least 2-3 minutes. That's quite a lot. Sometimes even 5 minutes with each one. And Baba would speak to each and every one. And there was a time when whole night Baba met the children individually and continued to meet till next day morning and finished only by 10:30 in the morning. It was like 16 hours sitting in one place. Gulzar Dadi came at 6:30 in the evening and next day at 10:30 Baba's program finished. So 6:30 to evening, 6:30 p.m. to until next day 10:30 p.m. a.m. How many hours? How many hours? 16 hours. That's how Baba used to sustain us with those personal blessings. And we don't forget those blessings which we got from Bap Dada personally. But then gradually this system changed because children grew in number and it was impossible to give blessings individually and give so much time to each one. And then Baba started meeting the children in groups after the Murli. Smaller groups would come in front of Baba and Baba would speak to them. But gradually even this system changed. And then bigger groups would sit in front of Baba down below, not on the stage, but down below in Om Shanti Bhavan, and Baba would give them the blessing. And then gradually even that changed. Then just one Murli, and in that Murli we had to experience the blessing. That's all. So now the time has come when Baba's children have grown, multiplied, expanded, so much expansion has taken place that it might be difficult even further on to give drishti, which This time may be possible to give drishti to individual. About 2,000 double foreigners have come. And if all of you come on the stage, even if it's one second of drishti to each one, 1 second, okay, you can say maybe 2 seconds, whatever. And 2,000 children, how many hours that will that be? How many? Can you calculate? Has anyone calculated? If you say 2 seconds for one individual, and that way 2,000, so how many hours? Can anyone has a calculator? Yes, how many? 4 hours. 4 hours. So 4 hours. Just for giving blessings, just for giving drishti. But you are very fortunate, maybe this could be the last time. And I know, I asked somebody, why did you come this time? You could have come in December, January, February, Baba's season will go on till the end of March and beginning of April. Oh no, I've come this time because I'm going to get Baba's drishti. Maybe later on I might not get Baba's drishti. Because then there will be 10,000, 20,000 Indians also, Bharatvasis, who will be here, so it's not possible. So I said, we are very lucky, at least you made this endeavor to come at this time. And those who must have said, okay, I'll try, I'll see next time, and the next time comes, okay, next time, the next time, then now or never. It's like now or never. So you have made that endeavor, and have come to Madhuban, so congratulations for that. You have come late, although you are not too late. But even though you are late, and through the drishti, through the murli, how will you experience the blessing? Supposing Baba says, Baba is looking at his Master Almighty Authority children. Now this is a blessing. It's a blessing. I am a Master Almighty Authority child. How to make use of this blessing? I have received this blessing. Like when somebody is blessing someone, may you be a Master Almighty Authority. Dadi gives you blessings, she hands out blessings. So you are that, or may you be that. It's a blessing. At that time, we have to then understand that if this blessing has been given to me by God, it has definitely a very big meaning. God has sealed my quality and has blessed me with this. So how to make use of this blessing? Some don't know how to make use of this blessing. And they question, how do I know that Baba has given me the blessing? He speaks in front of 10,000 people. Baba is seeing his Master Almighty Authority children. He didn't tell me individually. If he would have told me individually, okay, I would have felt it. But he didn't tell me, he spoke to 10,000 people. But again, why do I think that? Baba is speaking to 10,000 people. At that time, the consciousness should be, Baba is speaking only to me. This is the change we have to bring in our consciousness. If I think Baba is speaking only to me, then I will pay full attention because Baba is only speaking to me. Baba is looking only at me. Baba says it takes Baba no time to give a glance to the whole world, to see his children all over the world. It takes him only a second. To give drishti to all his children in the whole world, it takes him only a second. That's the Almighty Authority's power. Baba sometimes says, I am looking at 2 gatherings. One gathering is of my children who are in the physical form sitting here. But Baba is seeing another gathering too, of those children who are far away in distance, but so close to the heart, and Baba is visualizing even them sitting in front of him. So Baba is seeing 2 gatherings. And how long it takes to see both the gatherings? 1 second. You know? That is the power of the Almighty Authority. So when I am receiving this blessing, wherever I am, maybe one is listening to the Murli in his country, even there he is getting the blessing. It's not that only those who are sitting in front of Baba are getting the blessing. Even through intuitions, through vibrations, through thoughts, you can get the blessing. But how to make use of this blessing? If the slightest doubt comes, I don't think I am Master Almighty Authority. I don't know. You know, we often say, I don't know. Somebody tells me you can do this, I don't know whether I can do it or not. The moment you doubt yourself, it means that you are not able to use that blessing. Because the moment you are told, Baba will not tell you if you are not. If you are not Master Almighty Authority, Baba wouldn't tell you. You know, usually if you are given some work to do, and somebody allots you some work to do, he knows or she knows that you can do it. That's why he tells you to do it, she tells you to do it. If you cannot do it, he or she will never tell you. There's someone who has never cooked in his life, nobody will tell him go and cook. Of course he knows that this person can't cook. But yes, if somebody tells you go and cook and that one doesn't know how to cook, but he has been blessed that you have to cook, okay, then make the endeavor to cook, to learn how to cook. And maybe you can become a very good cook, the best cook, because you got a blessing from the seniors. But if right from the beginning you say, I can't do it, that means you have lost your blessing. You have lost even the strength of experience of that blessing. It is sometimes given an example like you have given something in your apron, you know, but there's a big hole in it, and so whatever is given, it just spills out. But if you put something in a pot and there is a tiny hole in it, so whatever is liquid is put in that pot, it's drained away. So the intellect also gets a hole. The moment I begin to have the doubt in me, I don't know whether I can do it, I don't know whether it's possible to do, I don't know if really I can do it, it means there's a hole in the intellect. And whatever blessing is being given is being drained away. You know, there's interesting stories in the scriptures about this. That once God was distributing fortune to everybody, and each one was told to bring something, a pot or a pan, any utensil, any vessel, to fill in that fortune which God was giving to everybody. So some brought a small pot, some brought a big pot, some brought very huge utensils, but someone even brought a sieve, like a filter, a sieve through which you filter tea or, anything. They brought even that. So when God distributed the fortune, what happened? What happened? The fortune, it drained away. It fell down and drained away because a sieve has many holes. And if it has holes, naturally whatever you put in it, everything will be thrown out, will fall out. So the intellect, if it becomes like a sieve with those holes in the form of doubts, it cannot retain the blessings, it cannot retain the fortune. And therefore we have to make sure that there is no doubt in us. And for that, the need to develop that faith first in the self. I can do it. I am worthy. To have faith in the Supreme Being, in Baba, who is telling me this? The Almighty Authority Himself. Even if I don't have that strength, But because I am blessed by the Almighty Authority, the strength will come on its own as a blessing. But I have to first create that awareness that I am it. I remember one child when Baba was giving individual blessings. At that time, one soul came and sat in front of Baba and Baba started giving him drishti. But then he refused to take drishti. He was looking down. And I'm telling him, please look up, look at Baba, take drishti from Baba. And he would look up again, look down. Look up again, look down. Maybe he was feeling ashamed, Maybe he had done something wrong. I don't know. But then he would look up and again look down. And Baba smiled at him. Baba asked him, do you consider yourself to be a Master Almighty Authority? Baba asked him this question. And he said, no. He said, no. Baba smiled at him. Whose child are you? He didn't say anything. Then Baba only, in the form of questions, Baba was answering him. Baba asked him again, do you consider yourself to be the child of the Almighty Authority? Then he got that little courage. He said, yes, I am the child of the Almighty Authority. So if your father is Almighty Authority, and do you consider himself to be your child? Yes? Sure? He said, yes. So at least that thought he made himself determine. Yes, I'm the child of the Master of the Almighty Authority. So if your father is Almighty Authority and you are his child, then a child means the child of Almighty Authority is definitely Master Almighty Authority. Do not doubt in yourself. But at the moment, why you are doubting yourself? Because you are seeing your past. But Baba is seeing your future. Maybe in the past that soul must have had many weaknesses. And therefore, how could he consider himself to be a Master Almighty Authority? But Baba was not seeing his past. Baba was seeing his future. And Baba said, your future is very bright. You are Master Almighty Authority. And from now onwards, if anything happens, any weakness comes, tell yourself, remind yourself, who am I? I am Master Almighty Authority. And go ahead. And I am with you and you will be successful. So this was a blessing. Yes? Yes? So this was a blessing. And immediately that blessing worked on him and that faith in himself came. Faith that whatever Baba has told me will definitely happen. And when he went back, that blessing did wonders upon him. Miracles happened. Something which he had never expected happened. And he could be very successful in his life. He began to serve so well. So how did the blessing work upon him? When he started developing that faith in himself. Baba tells us in the Murlis, children, consider yourselves to be holy swans. Each of you sitting here is a holy swan. A holy swan is the one who picks up only pearls and not pebbles. So I am that holy swan, picking only the virtues of all, not the defects of anyone. So whenever you think of a defect of someone, always remember, I am a holy swan who picks only virtues of others. In this way, Baba gives us so many titles. Those titles are also in the form of blessings. Like today's Murli. Baba was seeing his children who are the most beloved ones, the royal ones, the ones who have won God's heart throne, the ones who are self-sovereigns at this time of the confluence age, and the ones who will become the world's sovereigns in the future. So ask yourself, am I a self-sovereign? If I say, okay, I will become that one day, someday, Baba says, no, it's now or never. Don't say, I will become, I'm going to become, but I am. This is the consciousness. When we meditate, what do? We don't say, I'm becoming a pure soul, I'm becoming a peaceful soul. Do you say that? What do you say? I'm becoming a peaceful soul? I'm a peaceless soul and I'm now becoming a peaceful soul. No, that's not what you say. What do you say? I am a peaceful soul. No? Isn't it? The difference between the path of devotion and the path of knowledge is this. On the path of devotion we had been saying, I'm so impure, I'm unworthy, I'm very bad, I'm this, I'm that. God, please bless me. God, have grace upon me. God, do this, God, do this. We are reminding God to help us, to do this and do that for us, or give this or give that. But now on the path of knowledge, we don't say that. We don't say, give me peace, give me love, give me purity, give me happiness, give me strength. No, I am that. This is the biggest difference. Because in my eternal stage, in my original stage, in my beginning stage, I am that truly. So even if I'm saying, give me, how am I going to receive? It is all within me, no? My original stage has to be brought up from within. It is embedded within the soul, within my original sanskars, which have to be revealed through that awareness, it's through the awakening. So Baba comes and wakes us up. We are like the sleeping giants, They show in many stories, they tell about giants. But then they show that how a giant is sleeping. And when he's sleeping, he's helpless. But when he wakes up, so strong. But till he's sleeping, he is helpless. No strength at all. So till we were in the sleep of ignorance, we felt no strength in us. And now we have woken up. I am that. It's like somebody waking up from a very deep coma state. He's a very rich man and he meets with an accident. And then afterwards he loses all his memory. He goes into a coma state, and then when he's awake from his coma state, he doesn't know that he is such a rich man. He knows no one. So he's totally unaware. And then they show in films, in Indian films is very common, that period, when from the time he got an accident, and he went into a state of coma, again he woke up, whatever, but he was totally unaware of what happened in the past or what was in the past before he met the accident. Total forgetfulness. And then he gets another accident. And when he got an accident, and immediately what happened? Again his head was injured. And after again he went into a little state of coma, some unconscious stage. And then what happened? He woke up. And all that period in which he was in the coma state, the first accident, the second accident, everything was out of his memory. And we woke up, he realized who he was. He didn't even remember that he went through 2 accidents. There are such films. So this is a game of forgetfulness and remembrance, of consciousness and unconsciousness, you may call it. When we remember, we have everything. When we forget, we have nothing. This is what it is. So how to experience blessings from Baba? Create that awareness. Awaken yourself. Oh, come tomorrow with that open heart, with a big, apron, open apron, and say, Baba, whatever you give me, I'll take all that within me and make it part of me. This is becoming the embodiment of those blessings. Whatever Baba speaks tomorrow. Baba will also give us maybe homework for the next season, for the season which is beginning from tomorrow, which has already begun. Baba will tell us many things. Baba will also remind us of many things which we may have forgotten. And therefore all that will be included in the blessings. And consider each Murli, the whole Murli rather, with that consciousness that Baba is speaking to me only. Don't remember any human beings. Don't remember your past. Don't even have too many expectations, Just have a plain intellect, ready to receive, with a receptive intellect. Because when you have a receptive intellect, whatever you get will give you lots of benefit. Maybe if you have too many expectations and then those expectations are not fulfilled in that way, then you may be disappointed. So just keep a plain intellect, free intellect, like a plain paper. Like a plain paper, whatever is written is very clear. If something is written already beforehand and then you try to write over it, it won't be legible. So keeping a plain intellect means I'm going as a completely clean slate, clean soul, totally free, totally light, without any pulls, without any bondages, without any attractions, without any burdens, light, easy, free. Just one consciousness that I am Baba's child, God's child, who has come to meet the Father after 5,000 years to claim the blessings from the Father. And if we become worthy of that, let me tell you, then claiming the blessings from the family is not difficult at all. It's so easy. But getting blessings from the Father and experiencing those blessings from the Father is like holding the seed. If you hold the seed, the whole tree becomes yours. You don't have to water every leaf, but just water the seed, and the leaves will automatically get the water. So that's how you will receive Baba's blessings tomorrow. Om Shanti.